Caleb making plays. The Vikings on deck. We've got Paul Allen, the voice of the Vikings. We got Adam Jahns at Halas Hall, and we've got the elite, always dominant, Gregory P. Allen Braggs. The CHGO Bears Podcast. It starts right now. Welcome in. This is the CHGO Bears Podcast, where we are presented by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Never ordinary sitting next to you, my Purdue Boilermaker weird shirt.
Let's go. Boiler up.
Yeah, that's why they're here. That's why
we're here. Big game tonight. And
yeah.
Sorry to Hoge. I'm tweeting right now because I put in the description. I forgot to add X's and Hoges will be on the show. Carm also didn't say it to start the cold open.
Yeah.
We keep forgetting about the award-winning X's and Hoges segment. And how could we with your amazing song? We should just start playing the song as the cold open.
It's so good that it doesn't even need to be talked about. I think that's what I think that's what's happened. It's everybody knows it's coming on a Thursday. Dude's been hanging out in his basement with his amazing wife Krista, and the segment it's been sweeping the nation. Yeah, it is coming up at some point today, probably right after Paul Allen. But right now, Gregory, let's go out to Halas Hall and bring in our guy. Adam Jahns, who apparently is doing some incredible work behind the scenes, hanging out with Bears coaches. A big piece is coming. I don't want to oversell it, but it sounds like that's the case. Jahns, good to see you.
What's going on, fellas? How's it going?
Well,
we're good.
We're great. I was here for all 3 seconds today, and Greg and I were screaming at each other. And
you screamed at me.
Well, and you deserved it.
For what? I need to know what.
Well, we're going to talk about it here in this segment, but he had a take, and so then I challenged him on what he said, and he was like, I didn't say that, and then we started arguing about if he said it or not, not even the take itself.
It was real high level. It was the two high school kids going at it.
Jahns, I'm going to join you at Halas next week.
Yeah, but
come on up. Plenty of room.
But we are actually, I don't want to get too deep into it because it's actually what we're going to talk about here while you join us.
Right, so look, a lot of the conversation this week has been about Caleb and next level and scrambling, and I thought that Hoge asked a really interesting question yesterday, and I thought it was even more interesting how Caleb answered the question. So should we play it right here, or should we just start with it?
Let's start with it.
Go ahead.
So this was Hoge yesterday to Caleb about – I'm a little bit worried that you can't hear Hoge here, so just to clarify – you boosted it? All right, then I don't need to clarify. So this was Hoge with a great question to Caleb yesterday.
A couple more. When you have these plays where, like, maybe you skip a read or you don't hit your check down, but you still turn it into, like, a very positive play with your legs or whatever. For example, I'm thinking of, like, your 29-yard scramble down to the 1-yard line. Mm-hmm. It looked like your check down may have been open. I'm just curious, like, how is that viewed in the quarterback room and your coaches when you guys are reviewing that? Is that a positive play? Is that a negative play? Because obviously it still turned into something really good at the end.
Yeah, I'm also an athlete in the field. I would like to put myself up there with some of the best athletes on the field at the time of all 22 people, all 21 other than myself on the field. And so, I think the progression of my game will become better. And I think part of that is, getting through reads fast and finding a check down. I did it a couple times last game, and then there was times where I felt the pocket collapse or, on that 120-yard scramble, you feel the whole offensive line and D-line get squished in there, and you feel a bunch of space, and it's man coverage, and you go take off and try and make a play for the team in that moment.
So Jahns, he doesn't really answer the question. He's how is it graded? He doesn't answer it at all. And then he talks about I'm one of the best athletes on the field. So what was your read to the way Caleb handled that question from Hoge?
My reaction in the moment is the same as yours. He didn't answer the question that Hoge asked about, are you graded positively or negatively for missing a read? Just listening to Ben Johnson, though, whether it's this week or previous weeks, he is graded upon his misses, even if that play becomes a success based on what he does afterwards with his legs. It turns into an amazing scramble. If they saw something before the scramble, you will, without certainty, like they're going to bring this up to Caleb Williams and highlight how he missed this read, he missed this check down. They're going to bring that up to Caleb Williams with absolute certainty. That's going to be brought up by Ben Johnson, Declan Doyle, JT Barrett. They're going to mention that to him, and they should. They shouldn't just praise him for these amazing plays. I think the Bears have benefited from it. I think Ben Johnson's missed play calls have turned into something because of Caleb Williams' legs, but at the same time, they are teaching a young quarterback. So they have to go through these plays, even like these miraculous plays that are one of a kind, right? That only Caleb Williams can make. You have to go through every step of the progression and correct your quarterback, and I believe the Bears are doing that.
And it's interesting too because we're having Paul Allen, voice of the Vikings, on here in a little bit, and he does sit down with Kevin O'Connell weekly, and so to get ready for today's show with him and his interview, I watched his interview with Kevin O'Connell yesterday, and he said that he told J.J. McCarthy over the headset at one point when he hit 2 checkdowns instead of taking off and running that was the most proud of him he was because he got 20 yards out of those plays. So it seems like in Minnesota they're trying to kind of deal with the balance of all this too. Taking it back to Ben Johnson, because I also think Dennis Allen had thoughts today about the scrambling, which you highlighted earlier in your reporting, but keeping it with Ben Johnson right now, hearing from him during the week talking about, you know, having to not try to completely coach that out of him, it does feel like Ben is trying to find a balance of what his rules are in terms of structured offense versus what Caleb Williams can do that's special outside of structure. I still feel like that is something not just the quarterback is having to toggle between, but also the head coach on allowances with that.
If you look at the scramble numbers, and I really only think this has become part of the conversation this week because of everything he did against the Giants. The scramble down to the 2-yard line, and obviously the scramble for the touchdown. Those are highlight reel plays that only a few quarterbacks in the league can make. But he is not amongst the league leaders in scrambles. Like, if you look at number 1 and number 2, I have them right here, according to Pro Football Reference. The scramble leaders are Drake May with 42 scrambles, and then Patrick Mahomes and Jaden Daniels at 35. And Caleb Williams comes in with 24 scrambles on the season. Now, he is averaging 10.1 yards per carry, which is behind Justin Herbert and Bo Nix among starters who have started every single game this year. So it's not like he's just fleeing the pocket at every step that he gets or every sense of pressure that he feels and he's out of there. No, he's trying to stay in the pocket, go through his progressions, and sometimes he misses some reads. And guys, this is what I want to say. Like, all of this is okay. Like, he is allowed to miss checkdowns. Like, he is allowed to miss DJ Moore down the field. He's allowed to scramble, then try to hit him again. Like, this is part of him learning as a second-year quarterback. This is part of him learning under Ben Johnson where, hey, I love your scramble down at the 2-yard line, but guess what? Let's bring it back a little bit. You missed your check down right here to DeAndre Swift. Like, I love that ball in the corner of the end zone on the sideline to DJ Moore, but guess what? Let's back it up a little bit. You missed him on his first cut when he could have been a touchdown right away. So those are the things that Caleb Williams just has to go through with Ben Johnson, where he's got to play, where he's just got to play and learn and like, just get that time in the pocket, get that time under Ben Johnson to figure this out. Only experience will do that.
So, and that was my sort of just look at the whole thing. Like, hey, man, we talked about it the other week as far as like best athletes on the Bears, and I was like talking about Caleb as he's certainly in the team photo as you look at what he does, his arm strength, his speed. Dude's one of the best athletes on the team. So for me, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't have hated it if he had said, Yeah, they want me to take the check down there because so actually that play was graded as a negative. But you know what? I relied on myself, and it worked out pretty well, and I got us down to the 2-yard line. So that's kind of a push and pull with me and Ben. Sometimes I'm going to try to hit the home run, and he doesn't want me to do it. And that's kind of been a little, push and pull with me and the coaching staff, and that's fine because we're still finding our way. That's what it sounded like to me, like, he probably hates that thing is viewed as a negative. Dude, I took it down to the 2-yard line. Don't tell me to hit the sad-ass check down when I nearly scored a touchdown and then threw a touchdown pass on the next play. So, I mean, this is a guy who deeply believes in himself and what he can do. So, I does that make sense that logically him and any coaching staff, Ben included, are going to, even as good as Ben is and how much he believes in Ben, that there's going to be some push and pull going on?
Yeah, it does make sense, and I think like if we want to further this discussion, like as the farther you get in the season, the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, it's the plays within the pocket that matter most for the quarterback. Like you'll face defenses that are fast enough, skilled enough, disciplined enough to contain your scrambling. Now, there's some heroic plays that quarterbacks make. Josh Allen does it. Patrick Mahomes does it. But playing within the pocket, delivering within the pocket is what the best quarterbacks do when the weather gets cold, when the playoff games are on the line. And I think that's the message that Ben Johnson is trying to get across to Caleb Williams. And I think it's being well received. Like, I know what Caleb Williams is saying about being one of the best athletes on the field, and I would agree with him in every sense of that. But at the same time, part of being the best athlete on the field is learning to play discipline within the pocket, delivering the football, and using different parts of your athleticism at quarterback, which is standing in the pocket, being poised, being calm, and using your arm.
If they're going to hit the consistency that Caleb wants, that Ben wants, that Bears fans want, he's going to ultimately have to become a better, not just elusive guy in the pocket, but just going through his progressions quicker and all that stuff. But I thought it was really interesting just listening to him talk about. We have that other clip, Steven, he's just talking about what his next level and what he's seeing, and I thought he was super relaxed about this, and it was just interesting to hear him go through, like, how much he could stay on a read, go off a read, just a zillion things that are going on each play.
Yeah, it's interesting because you get just kind of the whole process is like, let's get the ball out faster. Let's get through the reads, and sometimes I get through my reads actually too fast. Maybe because of leverage, or maybe because the covers that I'm seeing, and sometimes you just need to hang on. We got special guys, and so sometimes you need to hang on it and let it rip, and then other times it's there was a play that I actually avoided a sack, but I could have thrown a touchdown this past game, and it's those small things. It's like just the big plays right there. I saw it, and I was about to rip it, and I just saw color flash. He was running right at me, and I tried to get out of it, got out of it, and threw incompletion. It's those things that the next level, and something that I talk about with Coach all the time is that's the next level is I do have this ability to get out of stuff, but also there's gonna be times where it's just gonna drop back and let's deliver a ball, and I've done it every so often or whatever, but just doing that more often, and just finding the balance is tough, but that's what we're searching for.
So I loved that. He's just like,
yeah,
hey,
that's
man,
what I was getting at.
Yeah, this thing's hard. I could have stayed a little bit longer. I could have done this, but like, hey man, like I'm a year and a half into my career. I just thought it was that just shows to me that it's registering with him, really. All that's in front of him, all he can do, and just the challenge of each week.
And Carm, again, this is going to take time. That was a very good Giants defensive line that generated pressure from all sorts of different angles, where maybe he felt Darnell Wright losing to Brian Burns at times. Maybe he felt Dexter Lawrence, breaking through the middle a little bit against Drew Dahlman, and that's okay. He needs these experiences behind this defensive line, with the play call and the progression from Ben Johnson in his head and his receivers getting to the right spots at the right times. And I think we're all getting a little maybe too carried away about finding that balance because of what happened last game, because I don't think he's among the leaders. Again, he's not among the league leaders in scrambles, but yeah, I think what Caleb said there about that next level, that's what we're getting to. That's what I'm trying to point out here a little bit, because I think that's where Ben Johnson wants Caleb Williams to get to. And that next level, happens in the pocket.
Yeah, I don't. Do we want to take a quick break and then come back about the Dennis Allen stuff, or do we want to wrap up? Like, how do you guys
You
want
just keep going. We're fine. We're living the dream.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to get ahead of my skis here. But John's talking about Dennis Allen. I saw some of your reporting on Twitter, as we were kind of prepping for the show. Didn't get an opportunity to hear everything he said. But Dennis Allen also had some thoughts on what he's seen from Caleb Williams here since he started coaching, from training camp to where we are now. I didn't know if you wanted to share that here with the audience.
Well, I think you have a defensive coordinator who is watching a young quarterback kind of come into his own and being pretty thankful that he doesn't have to contain Caleb Williams, that he just has to practice against Caleb Williams, because there is nothing worse than a quarterback who is elusive, a quarterback who you think you have done for, like with the blitz. You have the perfect blitz called and he escapes it just because, as Caleb Williams said, he is one of the best athletes on the field. Patrick Mahomes does this like every single week and has done it since he's entered the NFL. And he makes plays. And it's hard to contain those, those reaction plays that happen post-snap when plays break down, when players need to be special, when quarterbacks have to be special in those moments. I think Dennis Allen is watching a young quarterback come into his own for the Chicago Bears. And those two, like here's a tidbit for you. Like, I want to say it was it the Ravens game? I forget which game, but I've seen Dennis Allen and Caleb Williams in the locker room have like different interactions where they've actually spoken to each other, where Dennis Allen's come over to Caleb Williams, put his arm around him and talk to him, have a private moment between defensive coordinator and quarterback, which I think is unique to see. But of course, Dennis Allen has all those experiences previous to here, as a head coach as well.
The only reason I thought it was important to kind of segue to Dennis Allen here and talking about the scrambling of Caleb Williams is the Bears defense is having trouble with scrambling quarterbacks. And we saw this here last week with Jackson Dart shredding the Bears defense. You saw it with Tyler Huntley against the Ravens. You saw it with Jaden Daniels on the primetime stage against Washington. And they've got a few running quarterbacks here coming up, starting this week with J.J. McCarthy, Jalen Hurts, not a few weeks away. So how do the Bears shore this up? How do the Bears stop letting some of these mobile quarterbacks hurt them? Because I feel like if they could do that, their run defense would probably be a little better than the statistics are showing.
Yeah, and some of the Giants' success was on design QB runs as well, which they utilized more than the Bears did in that game on Sunday. Greg, I don't know what the answer is. I think it's a matter of personnel. It's a matter of health. The Bears are missing some of their best players in the secondary. They're missing a bunch of guys up front. TJ Edwards has been out like this. This is a thing, and they're just trying to survive and grind through these injuries and come up with the most formidable defense that they can. So I don't know if I have a good answer for you, because I don't know if Dennis Allen has a good answer for such things. It's trying to get into favorable situations like third downs where he could go to these blitz packages that confuse quarterbacks. Like if they get J.J. McCarthy in 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 11s, 3rd and plus that, like this will be a good game for the Chicago Bears. But if it's 3rd and manageable, where QB design runs are on the table, especially after what we saw in week 1 from J.J. McCarthy, then I think the Bears will be in trouble, because I think it's just a matter of personnel. The Bears are shorthanded on defense. It's just the truth of the matter. They're missing guys at all 3 levels, and they're just trying to survive and advance in a sense before guys like Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, and TJ Edwards get back.
Hit the like button for Jahns out at Hallis Hall. Let's try to get up to 100 likes here with Jahns before he gets on out of here. And Paul Allen coming up. You can pre-hit the like for Paul Allen as well. You guys have your preview show tomorrow, Hoge and Jahns on Friday. What do you think you guys will be leaning into tomorrow? A lot of the topic is, well, Jonathan Grenard might not play, and that's a huge deal. Jonathan Grenard, this year, how many sacks does he have? Anybody know? The number is 2. So, he hasn't exactly been dominant this year like he has been in his career, at least as far as getting to the quarterback. Yes, Steven?
But he's in terms
I'm not
of
saying
PFF,
I'm not saying it's not a benefit that he's not playing, obviously.
he's been a great run stopper though.
Yeah,
He's the 10th graded edge rusher in on PFF's grading for, run stops. So
and there you go. There's
pretty good. Yeah.
That's a good number to counteract his 2 sacks. But what do you think you'll be leaning into?
I just think the Bears are such a different team than they were in week one. Like you look at personnel, like usage, like Luther Burden is going to play more than he did in week one. Colson Loveland is playing a lot more than he did in week one. Kyle Mananga is playing a lot more than he did in week one. Theo Benedict is your left tackle. Like things are different now for the Chicago Bears. They're running the football productively and consistently and with an attitude. That's different than week one. And I think Caleb Williams is in a better spot than week one. So I think this team has evolved offensively since week one. And to me, like the other part of it is like, how does Brian Flores now attack Caleb Williams? In week one, he was less aggressive. He just tried to confuse him, didn't blitz as much. Now does he turn up the pressure and get after the quarterback? But there's, some risk and reward here. Like, what if that pressure doesn't get there? What if they're in man coverage, Caleb Williams breaks contain, and he's got everyone, with their backs turned to him? That's a problem for Brian Flores. So, like, how does Brian Flores adjust to how this offense has changed, since week one? Like, I'm watching that. And then how does Dennis Allen get after J.J. McCarthy? Because I think the Bears are running into a quarterback whose right hand isn't feeling the same, who is trying to find his way after returning from a high ankle injury and high ankle sprain. And I think they could get after him a little bit. So those are the things I think Hoge and I will discuss, and I'm definitely watching on Sunday.
Anything from you, Gregory?
No, just make sure you're becoming a diehard and using the code Jahns when you do. And if you do use the code Jahns when you try to become a diehard, you get $36 to sign up. That's a hell of a deal. So make sure you're doing that. Shout out to Jahns.
Jahns, in your
Thanks,
opinion,
boys.
before you go, do you prefer? I don't know if you watch this show. It's okay if you don't, but so you might not have an opinion on this if you don't, but maybe you do. Do you think we should play the X's and Hoge's song before the hit, or do you think we should just play the amazing work of Adam Hoge? Do you think the song should be a staple before the segment, or do you think the song has been played and we've been there and done that?
No, I think consistency matters, Carm. So I think if you've done it once and you've done it twice and it's become part of the routine, you stick with it. You stick with it. It's part of the show, in my opinion.
There we go. See, hear that, Greg? It's part of the show.
That just that's a peek behind the curtain of now I know that Jahns likes to irritate Hoge.
Well,
That just shows me right there.
It's also true.
see, there you go. That's a Carm level read right there.
Yeah.
Carm level read. I'm proud of you. All right, have a great show tomorrow. Appreciate the time, and great question from Hoge. Why is Greg dressed like Ryan Koenigsberg? Is that a Boilermaker?
You don't know who that is?
Yeah, come on, Carm. You don't know who
You don't
that
know
is?
who Ryan Koenigsberg is?
Is that
Come on,
Boilermaker?
Carm.
Oh my God.
RK.
Oh, that's RK. That's RK. That's not our Ryan Koenigsberg.
Just one of the biggest people at our company. Shout out RK.
He's RK. I have him on a two letter.
Hoge's in the chat saying, Jahns, your soy latte is waiting for you, so you might want to go get
great.
that.
Wow.
While we
Wow.
take a time out here
That's
on
right.
the
That's
CHGO
service.
Bears podcast.
See you, boys.
Yeah. See, he just left us. I didn't even have to say goodbye. That's how this works.
Well,
All right,
he
bye,
actually
Jahns.
was still on the screen. It's okay. You
it's-
just
it's
never
fine.
know
It's
what the
fine.
preview
It's
screen
fine. I
is
just
after
wasn't,
4 years here.
Okay. All right. I'm a little thrown off that I just did what I just
Hoge
did.
in the
RK.
chat. LOL. Carm just got fired.
Nah, he's good.
We can only hope. But first,
Hey, shout out to our friends at Bet365. You are always a winner when you play at Bet365. You know why you're a winner at Bet365, Gregory? Tonight, $10 safety net bet. Let's go. You love Justin Fields tonight.
he's going to need a safety net tonight.
He might play big tonight. 13.5-point underdog. Lay it on the Jets. Lay it on Fields with Drake May and the Patriots playing great football. Give them credit. Talking we got
Jets have won 2 in a row, though.
They have. It's an interesting game tonight. Monday Night Football, you get the 50% super profit boost. Token that's on single game parlays, 100% parlay boost. Ton of going on with the NBA as well. Breaking news from Bet365. You get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. You sign up, use the code CHGO365. You deposit $10, you place a bet for $5, $200 in bonus bets. Cha-ching! Right into your account. You'd have to be 21 or older. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
That's right. I want to give a shout out to our good friends over at Factor. Those Factor meals are great, Mark. We just had a package delivered to our house. We got 6 different options. They really help me out, but they also help my wife out. Jenny is always on the move. There's always a million things going on, whether it's work. We're getting Addie lined up for school, and to have these just makes your routine so much easier. They're chef prepped, dietitian approved meals, and they make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic your season goes. So eat smart at factormeals.com/CHGO50 off and use code CHGO50 off to get 50% off your first box. Plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code CHGO50 off at factormeals.com. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
All right. We got Paul Allen coming up. I saw a couple supers come in early here that were of the significant variety. Why don't we get that in here for a second? San Diego, Mike, $20. Thank you, San Diego. Hey, boys, happy Thursday. As a Michigan alum, the only thing better than a Bears win is a Bears and Michigan double win this weekend. Michigan's coming to Wrigley Field to play Northwestern. You will stop talking, San Diego Mike. I shall enjoy 70 degrees and sunny while the Wolverines beat down the purple kitty cats. Go blue.
Yeah, well, Michigan basketball got very lucky against Wake Forest for all their yapping about Purdue basketball struggling against Oakland last week. So
Yeah,
Michigan basketball got humbled a little bit last week.
Don't
Illinois basketball looks great.
Don't sleep on Northwestern football, by the way. Right, trying to get the bowl eligibility.
Yeah.
On Saturday,
Yeah.
we'll see what they do with the Wolverine. And then Brennan
Towery
1761.
Mm-hmm.
The 1761er.
You were born.
That's right. Did you guys $10? Did you guys look for negative to talk about?
Don't say it like that. Read the thing.
No, that's
Read
what.
it.
Do you guys look for negative stuff to talk about before every show? As Jason was asking that question yesterday, I literally sighed out loud because I knew it would be the centerpiece for your show.
Well, Jason asked a different question, I think.
I don't know which Jason are we talking
Leisure?
about? Yeah, the questions that we took, was the first one, was that a leisure question?
No, that was Hoge, right?
The first one was Hoge. The second one, I don't know who asked it. So I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I think it was a Courtney question. It was a Courtney Cronin question.
And now I feel bad that I went to the Super Chats early because you, sir.
No, but I think it kind of still points to, the conversation that we had in A Block of where the conversation here this week is now about the next level, right? And what Caleb can do better. But I think a lot of Bears fans are looking at these last 2 games as Caleb's played some of his best football of his career.
Hoge literally said on yesterday's show that he was the best quarterback in the NFL the last 2 weeks. All right?
Right.
All right. The pom-poms have been out for what's going on this show.
No, I understand that. You don't have to get defensive. But my whole point
I am defensive.
You don't have to get defensive. My whole point is, though, like a couple weeks ago, I believe it was reported that they were telling Caleb to run more, right? And a little more, right? Take some of the yards when you can get them. And so then he started to do that. Now he's ran a few times. Now it's like, all right, well, you got to take the checkdowns. And so it's not an exact science, as Caleb kind of said in the press conference, that those decisions are happening fast. And the balance of trying to understand when to and when not to is something that they're always, I think, going to be tug-of-warring with. And how that marriage continues to grow is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and look, there is no argument. Caleb is getting better. It is obvious. And he's pulling out games that the Bears lose every single time through the history of time. And they're winning them now. So, I mean, this is really not a whole lot to – I mean, come on. So, on that note, let's go up north where they are having some quarterback troubles here, which is completely unfair because he's playing for 5 seconds. Our friend, the great Paul Allen, joining us. K-Fan, 9 to noon, the voice of the Vikings since, 2002? Just straight dominating. Paul, good to see you. Appreciate you making time, as always, for us. Appreciate it.
What's going on, boys? How's the bricklayer doing?
We're hanging over here. I got to deal with this
Brilliant
prima
man.
donna media guy next to me every day, but outside of that, we're making it work, Paul.
You said with the Giants and the Cincinnati games, and the Bears, maybe the Raiders, winning games like that they haven't won in quote a million years. That caused me immediately to think of a 2009 Monday Night Football game the Vikings had there at Soldier Field. And the Vikings are, they're en route to potentially the Super Bowl with that Brett Favre team. And Jay Cutler put Devin Aromashodu on a double move on the best corner in the history of Minnesota Vikings football, Antoine Winfield. And I mean, that's about as loud as I've ever heard Soldier Field this side of a Devin Hester punt return touchdown after Soldier Boy when one of our guys, Heath Farwell, probably got pushed in the back.
Yeah, well, I always loved Chris Cluey because he never learned. He just kept kicking to Devin and kicking to him, and I was like, "Keep on kicking, Cluey. You're gonna see
so crazy.
23 running away from you." Those were the good old days.
I got you, man.
I love when we bring in the history here. That's good stuff. So Paul, take us back to week 1, if you will, and Minnesota did not look good that night, and it looked like the Bears were going to pull it out. And then JJ played incredible down the stretch, and Minnesota ends up winning the football game. Can you kind of remember your mindset coming out, like even midway through the third quarter, like week 1? Did you think that you guys were going to walk out of there 0-1?
I can't say that, but I do recall, because it was a close game, like they all are in this division collision. But that fourth quarter, that fourth quarter was, they're all like snowflakes, man. They're the same, but they're all different. That was one with that kid quarterback from LaGrange Park that, it just wouldn't stop. And we've now seen that through 4 starts, that he has parts to him that when certain things get going, they don't stop. And that goes to both sides of the equation, because then the next week, off that super exciting nationally televised win, the Vikings host Atlanta on Sunday Night Football and don't score a touchdown. And then the kid's gone for a month and change. So now we're starting to think about that, because he wasn't going to start 2024. That was always Sam Darnold. But he looked great in a preseason game against the Raiders. Then he was gone. And he was gone for over a year. So then when he got that ankle, the narrative was kind of, we just, hopefully for him, it stops with the play, leave. And it kind of has. But that showed us that night. And I can't say that there was a point I was sure the Vikings were going to lose. That would be a fast forward to a Thursday night football game against the LA Chargers late in the first quarter, where I'm like, this is unbelievable. Holy cow. But JJ has that to him. Ask the Lions. O'Connell never had won at Ford Field, despite having a great record at Soldier and Lambeau. And JJ was terrific. Fast forward to the next week, we got 8 false starts. He had 2 of them. And he threw a couple of interceptions. So it's 4 starts, up and down. It'll stabilize a little bit each week.
Yeah, I heard from Alec Lewis. He put a quote that Kevin O'Connell said in a press conference that really resonated with things we've dealt with here in Chicago, where Kevin O'Connell said, and I quote, "There's really 2 worlds going on at the same time, quarterback development and the belief I have in that and the conviction I have for certain aspects of it, and then what's best not only for our team that day and this season, but that play." And I've talked about this many times, whether it was with Mitch Trubisky or Justin Fields and then Caleb Williams last year, the balance of a play caller and a head coach, directing your team one way because there's expectations to win week to week for the 52 guys on the roster, and then calling plays to develop a quarterback who still has a lot to learn. And so watching JJ over the last couple weeks, like it does seem like normal rookie things. He's sped up a little too much. He's maybe puts a little too much sauce on a pass sometimes. When to hit the check down and when not to the check down. I heard your conversation with Kevin yesterday about how he was proud of him for taking those 2 short check downs in the game last week. So what's that been like for you watching the games and how they're trying to navigate through competing, but now knowing, hey, we need to develop this guy for the greater good of the future?
Yeah, you laid it out beautifully. I don't have an answer. And I'm certainly not going to speak for the team, but in listening to Kevin in that interview that I get to do with him weekly that you referenced, and then the coordinators, specifically Wes Phillips, the offensive coordinator, talking about all that stuff. This is a rich roster, that includes some high end players in Christian Darrisaw, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel. I mean, those are high-end players. So you don't sacrifice to a certain extent. This is what makes it tough, because the A topic with the team is the quarterback and getting him right as fast as you can. The 1A off that is recognizing Drake May, Bo Nix, Josh Allen, Caleb Williams, maybe. I didn't look at it. Fran Tarkenton. And Fran Tarkenton, HOF, in his first 4 starts, man, 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions, 50% completions. So this side of Tom Brady, it ain't easy, when you're starting. So going through that, yet trying to maximize what you can do with this roster, that just has to be super tricky. The JJ threw 47 times last game, 45 or 47, one of the two. I mean, what it's not my job to say whether it was right or wrong, because I'm not box count guy. I don't watch film well enough to know if the third corner for the Ravens is the one you pick on in quarters 1 and 3. Okay, but I respect all that when it comes to play call. Plus, we had 8 false starts. 8 false starts as a home team.
At home.
So that puts you behind. So now you're 1st and 15 several times. Holy cow. That makes it more difficult to run. However, what I do know is all the way back to 2000, when a quarterback 22 years of age or younger throws 45 times or more in a game, I think they're 11 and 57. And the last one to win was Herbert in 2020 at age 22. So, I would, again, I don't speak for the team or the coach. I got to believe Kevin's looking to reconfigure that thing a little bit. It's too pedestrian and low-hanging fruit-like to say you have to run more. That's just too pedestrian to look at it that way. And I'm context guy. So, when I'm doing the radio show and people are coming in with that and not offering the context, that frustrates me, because I know part of it is right, but I don't know how to get there.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I'm looking at the comments on your show and watching the O'Connell interview, and it's all these Vikings guys. They got to run the ball. And I'm like sitting there thinking to myself, do you guys really think that Kevin O'Connell doesn't know what he's doing? Like that,
right?
Like that to me seems like a crazy thought. Vikings fans should be, in my mind at least, super happy that Kevin O'Connell is your head coach and he's going to find the right way to do this. And you can look at it like, I'm just looking at the numbers. 20 for 42. That's a lot of throws.
42.
It's and
I'm sure more dropbacks than just the throws.
Right.
Too,
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
no. That's the bit. The bricklayer nailed it. It was 47 dropbacks. So 45 dropbacks or more at age 22 or less. That was the number. Thank you.
Yeah, bricklayers are great with numbers. That's what we've learned here.
Yeah, it's called every other week and what goes into your bank account.
Yeah,
that's right. That's
right.
exactly right. Well, then, how are you sizing up the division right now, Paul Allen? What the Bears and Lions up top here? This is and Green Bay looked great, and now they're looking like borderline falling apart here. It's hard to get a read.
I expect the Vikings to win this weekend, and that's with all due respect to the Bears. And here's why. The bounce back off the no touchdowns against Atlanta, they crushed Cincinnati. I mean, we had defensive touchdowns. Van Ginkel played 8 plays, had 2 sacks. Then they kind of embarrassed themselves at L.A. against the Chargers. Good team, too. And they go to Ford Field and win, when everything's super low. And it's hard to win at Ford Field. And I'm not saying, this Baltimore loss, they played better than they did against the Chargers or Falcons, but the bounce back factor with this team has been absolutely fantastic. Plus, they're at home. And O'Connell just forever has been good in this division. Then you get to the Bears. It's abundantly clear to me what Ben Johnson from afar has done with Caleb Williams, and I haven't watched a lot of the all 22. I'm just going to lay it out like this: sacked 68 times last year, 9 through it. We only got 14. Darnell Wright's playing out of his skin. O'Connell told me that on and off the radio the other day. It's not like he's saying Darnell Wright was terrible. He's just saying this right tackle, holy cow. Trying to figure out who the left tackle is, Benetton or whatever the name is. We can deal with that later. But Caleb, and I keep coming back to Caleb because of the whole offseason narrative of the play action and the footwork and the changing of the feet and the whole thing. Plus, he's the quarterback and he's the A topic. So he has 3 rushing touchdowns, had 0 last year. That's new. You got Bajent throwing passes to Williams. You got Komet throwing passes. You got DJ throwing a touchdown pass to Caleb. It's clicking. It's hitting. I know they're running for 185 over the last 5. They're winless in the division, gave up 52 to the Lions, lost to the Ravens recently without Lamar. So I'm trying to figure out who you are. Green Bay, I've never been as in love with the quarterback as some people in their fan base. I thought the deal was ridiculous. I don't trust Jordan Love in big spots. And that opinion was formulated when Matt LaFleur was calling the freaking game of his life at San Francisco in the playoffs. And to be a system quarterback is not a bad thing. By the way, Tom Brady was a system quarterback. He followed McDaniel's system, didn't go out of body, and all they did was win Super Bowls. So, Love being a system quarterback, that 49ers playoff game out west, I mean, he's following that thing to a T. Now, all of a sudden, he decides to go I, not thy, and utilize his will over the coaches. Well, what happens? Runs out to the right, throws a right to Dre Greenlaw. Tucker Kraft's wide open left flat for a first down. And they're probably going to beat the Niners as an underdog. But Jordan messed it up. So I don't really like him in big spots. I mean, we're happy for Micah Parsons. The defense, on a 3rd and 6 and longers, like immortality, that's all great and everything. But the quarterback's the A topic, man. And you ain't going to be able to fortify that village, unless you figure that thing out. Finally, the Lions are still the team to beat in the division. I know the Vikings beat them. The Lions did not play poorly against the Vikings. The Vikings played one of the better games that I've seen in quite some time. I mean, to hold Gibbs and Montgomery the way they did. But that's what's frustrating is that's in them. Now, when you guys saw the Vikings week 1, McCarthy did not have Darisaw and he did not have Jordan Addison. Now he does, and it matters. And Van Ginkel missed a month and change of games, he's super important. Blake Cashman missed a month and change of games, super important. But when those guys are together with Jonathan Grenard, Javon Hargrave had 2 sacks on Caleb. And Hargrave's been dynamite since Van Ginkel and Cashman came back. So the Vikings are equipped to do some significant damage this weekend at Lambeau, at Darnold, and the rest of the way. We just have to see it happen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Both teams, the Vikings and Bears, this is their first repeat opponent. So the adjustments made, that chess match between Kevin O'Connell and Ben Johnson, who I know have a friendship outside of football, is certainly going to be interesting to watch. Doesn't sound like Jonathan Grenard's going to play on Sunday. I guess that is
says who.
I know it's not official or confirmed, but it
says who.
Well, if you want to tell us right now, you can. But outside of that,
they're practicing right now, and I'm not there, so I could join this vast and ever-expanding enterprise, which is capturing the imagination of the nation. So when I was there yesterday, he didn't practice. So I'm hoping he goes limited today. O'Connell, in a roundabout way, has made it sound like, it sounds like it would be the high part of questionable if we were close to the end of the week. It's one of the toughest Minnesota Vikings I've come across in my 24 years calling games. So if Jonathan does not play, then it's kind of a messed up deal.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, you could have joined us from the practice field and gave us a little look. I mean, that would have helped us over here.
Are you kidding me? I mean, when you play Ben Johnson, you got to work on the Brian O'Neill jet sweep, and you got to work on putting Max Brosmer in the game and throwing it to Nick Vanette. I mean, it's highly secretive stuff out there, boys.
All right. My final question to you, and this is a serious one. Who wins in a cage match between the voices of the NFC North? If we're looking at Joniak and we're looking at Wayne Larrivee, and then, I guess we'll include Dan Miller. It feels like he'd probably be the first one out. And then you. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Larravee's the oldest of us all. But Wayne skis. And he skis a lot in the offseason in like Wyoming, Montana, and stuff like that. So his legs are strong. I haven't felt my ribs in 30 years, so you can go ahead and eliminate me from that equation. Joniak has an edge to him, and he's also from the tough guy town. Now, Miller and I are both from Washington, D.C. He executes his toil in Detroit. I execute my toil in the cornfields. Again, I'm out. So I think it comes down to Miller and Joniak. Jeff is celebrating his 25th year calling Chicago Bears football. Yeah. And if Bears fans don't appreciate what they have, A, in him on the radio, and B, Adam Amin calling Bulls games on TV, and he is the bomb and one of the nicest people I've met in this profession. If they don't appreciate Jeff, they're doing a disservice to their ears and hearts. I'm going to give it to Jeff. I'm going to give it to Jeff out of equity, cunning, guile, and experience.
I'm going to relay that to him tomorrow, and that will go to his ego, and it's fine. No problem. Hey, Paul, I don't want to get out of pocket here, but your hair is getting a lot of love in the chat here. So I want to know how is that a once every 3 weeks? What are we paying for that cut? Do you go product? Because I'm trying to do something over here.
It just went right back into perfection.
Yeah. It did do you have a go-to person?
Well, hey, here's an opportunity to add to your advertising bit. I use Aveda forming cream. God blessed me with thick, voluminous hair. I had no idea that I could actually wear it this long until the pandemic hit. So I guess that was serendipity out of that worldly clipping penalty. So ever since then, I've just kind of kept it on the longer side. But you know what? If Aveda does not advertise with this podcast, then it's absolutely foolish, and I'm going to move over to Red Ken or whatever, or Vidal Sassoon, whatever you want to call it. But this is all my real hair. I'm a method actor, is what it's called in the business, a stage actor, and I get calls frequently to double as Michael McDonald, Artie Lang, and or Thomas Einstein. So therefore, I always have to keep it like this. Unless it's Michael McDonald, then I got to slick it back and go, "You don't know me, but I'm your brother." That's about the best I can do.
See, that's the beauty of that, because if you go extra Aveda, you're right there. But if you just let it flow, then
Well, I mean, I'm in a gangster town right now. I ain't saying it's a gangster town now. That'd be a different form of gangster than that stuff I see on the news. I'm talking Al Capone and stuff like that. So if I go Pat Riley and slick this bad boy back next time, trim up the sides, maybe the people in your chat room will think it's good enough to eat.
Yeah, no, right. then you'll go right to Gibson's and be good. Otherwise, it's no. Paul, you're the best, man. Thanks so much. Have a great call on Sunday. And
who do you guys like and why?
I'm taking the Bears. All right, we shouldn't have lost week 1. You got lucky. We're not letting you off the hook this time.
Yeah,
Bears are running the football better. I'm ready for this game.
I'm a little
50-50 game in my opinion.
Absolutely.
That's what it feels like to me. I'm probably going to lean at the end of the day. And by the way, we do a picks every week for 4 years now. Paul and I am number 1 on the chart here. I probably am going to lean to the Vikings, but I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it easily. I do wonder if the Bears can be consistent.
You're playing the game.
Yeah, on the
you're playing
road.
The game in that if you pick the Vikings and they win, you were right. And if you pick the Vikings and the Bears win, you're happy and you get to be self-deprecating. You see, that's another reason Aveda should advertise with this podcast.
Well,
and
again,
if it doesn't, you're fools. I'm never buying your forming cream again if you don't advertise with these boys.
Again, and you're 100% right. That's what Carm's doing. He's hedging. It's a age-old media, Chicago diva media trick. They just never want to be wrong.
Right, but the record doesn't hedge, and once again, first place. So there's no hedge in the record. The record is the record. Thank you. Paul,
You guys are the bomb.
you're the best.
We love
Thanks
you.
so much.
We love you.
appreciate it.
Love
Nothing
you
but
too.
the
Have a
best.
good weekend and call anytime, okay?
Appreciate you,
will,
brother.
We will. Great job. Always a huge pleasure. And Chad,
Love
I know you
it.
loved it. I know you loved it.
I
So
love how he calls me the bricklayer. That's great.
it's a big moment for
great.
you.
It's great. I'm honored. He's a great dude.
And we look forward to when you do that job again. All right. All right. X's at Hoge in a second, but first. This episode is being brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, like just being together on the show the way we are today. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid versus get your hand a hit and whatever else happened before the show today. Don't miss out on any of the excitement this football season on Prize Pick, where it's good to be right. More or less, that's all you got to do on 2 to 6 player projections. You ready, Gregory? Mm-hmm. More or less for Justin Fields tonight. What do you think the passing yards are? Guess. Go.
60.
136.5. So you'd be taking less?
I think so.
136.5. Remember when everybody just told us, you guys are mean to Justin Fields. 136.5. 36.5 on the rushing yards, more or less. He's been getting around 27 a game right now.
More.
Okay, there you go. More on that. And then if you go the other side, Drake May, 23.5 rushing yards.
More.
There you go. And you get the point. This is the fun way to do it. Being right gets you paid on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code CHGO to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Download the app today. Use the code CHGO, $50 off after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
That's right. Karma's always right unless he's trying to recollect what he just said. Forget that one day only. Black Friday is going on all month long at Ray Chevy in Fox Lake. It's right around the corner. The Bears play on Black Friday. So come in today to shop the Black Friday sales event and drive home with 10 to 30% off MSRP on new Chevy models, plus no payments for 120 days, or check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. And don't miss out on their Black Friday sales event going on all month long for 10 to 30% off MSRP. As I said, shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since
1963 when the Bears won the championship. Ray Scarpelli, what's up?
Together, let's drive.
Well, I had me a boy, turned him into a band. I showed him all the things that I didn't understand. Whoa. Then he started to grow. Boom, boom, boom. Now he's hosted 2 podcasts, cursing my name. Found a better lover. Jahns is his name. Hey. He's talking Bears twice a day. Boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Who we play this week, cause we need the path to victory. 1, 2, 3, how do we win this week? They always want to score, but they never throw deep. X's and a ho, he haunts me. Like Braggs will cry if they don't win it all. X's and Hoge. X's and Hoge.
I want to get into what Minnesota does from a personnel standpoint. I'll try to do this as quickly as possible, but typically the offense dictates the personnel. You want to go with 12 personnel out there. The defensive coaches on the headsets from upstairs are saying 12, 12, 12 so that the defense can match up. They're going to take their nickel off. They're going to go base. If it's 11 personnel, typically, all right, 11, 11, 11, you get your nickel out there. And it's not that complicated. But the thing about Brian Flores is he uses a ton of different personnels defensively. And that means that offensively, you're not necessarily always dictating the defensive personnel. You can go 12, call your play, get up to the line of scrimmage, and you still have to diagnose what the Vikings have out there against you. And just to give you an idea, so let's start with Josh Metellus, because Josh Metellus, he is sort of a do-it-all. He'll play safety, he'll play nickel, he'll play linebacker. He's on the field, though, 100% of the time. And that is, this is really the guy I think you got to watch to see where he lines up, because right now, technically, 3 safeties. As they get Theo Jackson back this week from a concussion, you'll see 3 safeties on the field all the time, but really Metellus lined up as the nickelback. Okay, if they take Jackson off, they're going to move Harrison Smith now back to free safety. They'll move Metellus back here, okay? And then Murphy sometimes will go inside, and you'll get Foster Moreau come in as the extra corner. That's one thing they can do. They'll also take Eric Wilson off the field. All of a sudden, now you got Metellus playing linebacker. You put 26 back out here. Harrison Smith goes back down into the strong safety spot. Another guy I think that really is going to play a huge role in this game is number 61, Jalen Redmond. He's been good for them. Dallas Turner, second-year edge rusher. We're thinking Jonathan Gennard's going to be out with the shoulder. That's huge. I don't feel like they trust Dallas Turner right now yet to be an every down edge player for them, similar to what the Bears are doing right now with Austin Booker. So what you'll see is you're not always going to see Dallas Turner out there. They'll bring 61 out here, obviously, as a heavier end, and then that's going to reduce the pass rush coming at you, obviously, if you're the Bears, but that also allow them to stop the run better when they put Redmond out there. Another thing you can see, okay, let's keep Redmond out here. You'll just move Javon Hargrave over here. Now both A-gaps are open, but you'll see these linebackers come down here, fill both of those. So now all of a sudden you got a bunch of guys lined up at the line of scrimmage. How do the Bears handle it? First of all, it starts with the personnel. Who's on the field? Where is Metellus lined up? That's huge. What are these linebackers doing? Are they going to rush everybody? Are they going to show here and then drop back? We know they do that a ton. All of this stuff, pre-snap, post-snap, snap matters a ton. How Caleb Williams handles it. Typically, when Ben Johnson plays Brian Flores, he has the answers to the test. But it's a lot. It's a lot to process. There's a lot of answers you have to go through both pre and post snap. So for me, it all starts with communication. Get the play calls in fast, because in that loud environment at US Bank Stadium, if you don't get those play calls in fast, then everybody's behind. Now you're kind of scrambling at the line of scrimmage. What are you actually, do you have enough time to even diagnose all this? Can you put the guys in motion that you want to put in motion? Because that's going to declare the coverages a lot of the time. Do you end up with delay of games? How Caleb Williams handles it, but it starts with Ben Johnson getting the play call in fast, will be huge and help decide this game. And the last thing I'll mention here, though, deep ball EPA. If you can run the ball successfully, set up play action, the Vikings have struggled to stop the deep ball this season, which brings me back to this guy, Luther Burden. Can he get a deep shot in this game? Wouldn't shock me. What they do is fun, it's crazy, it's exotic. It's also unsound. And Ben Johnson's going to have solutions. Can Caleb Williams deliver it? Can Luther Burden and some of these wide receivers take advantage?
Wow. Yeah. Greg, what'd you learn as you talked through the whole thing? And
that Luther Burden has things that he can take advantage of. That's what I learned.
Well, he was talking about deep ball EPA. Shout out to Nagy, who the under came in on EPA. I think he set it at 5.5, and I guess there was only one. I only heard one, too. So, but that's interesting that they're not, according to the Hoger here, and why would you ever debate what the Hoge says, because he's the Hoge. They're not sound fundamentally, and you can take advantage off a play action. So that would be a Caleb deep shot would go a long way to the Bears winning the football game.
Because you were mentioning that Jonathan Grenard only had how many sacks on the season?
Dose.
He may or may not play. Steven, you were mentioning that Dallas Turner only has how many sacks on the season? Was it 1.5?
They're leading. The Vikings leading sacker has 4. Hold on, I'll look.
And that's Redmond, Jalen Redmond, and Redmond was somebody that was giving the Bears problems on the interior of the defensive line. But it is interesting with their defense, who typically is very good. Although this year they've only generated 3 interceptions on the year.
That's right.
And so that's an interesting stat. You know, obviously the Bears have certainly had their luck. And if you look at their schedule too, and just like the score, they typically are going to give up 20 points or more. You know, they held the Browns and the Bengals to under 20. The Browns obviously are the Browns. But when they played the Bengals, and I know that Paul Allen was pointing to that as a bounce back game after the Vikings, but there's some context there. Jake Browning was the quarterback for the Bengals, and they were still, trying to come to grips with the fact they're not going to have Joe Burrow the rest of the year. So it is interesting to see that this Vikings defense, hasn't been dominant, certainly not doing what they were doing last year, as we have officially here hit overtime. Make sure you become a diehard here at allchgo.com/diehard when you sign up, as we have officially hit overtime here on the CHGO Bears podcast at the top of the hour. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Become a diehard and whatnot.
Use the code JAHNS. That's $36. You get a free T-shirt. You get a discount on all our merch, discount on all our events, discount on our tailgates, because I know you're going to want to come out next week when it's going to be beautiful, the weather, I hope, when the Steelers are in town and the Bears are trying to get their 8th win on the year. Fingers crossed on that as well. Look, the Vikings defense, last week they gave up 27 to the Ravens, who started slow. The week before that they gave up 24, beat Detroit. That was by far their most impressive win on the road this year. Gave up 37 the week before to the Chargers. He gave up 28 the week before to the Eagles. They've lost 3 of their last 4. This is, when you look at the schedule and you look at what the Vikings are doing, more importantly, and you look at the up and downness of J.J. McCarthy, this is one of the more winnable games left on the schedule, really.
Yeah, it's at their house, always tough to play there. The chess match of how these guys are going to adjust based off of what they saw from that first game and based off of how much different the teams are since week 1. And watching that is definitely going to be fascinating, and the Bears have to get their run game going. If they had a run game like they have now in week 1, they don't lose that week 1 game. And so that to me is the biggest key. And then outside of that, defensively for the Bears, it's about containing a mobile quarterback. They're just having trouble, accounting for, that position, running the football. And for whatever reason, the Bears just cannot find contain. Can Dom Rob return here today? Or on Sunday, I should say. Austin Booker has been a shot in the arm here the last couple weeks, certainly, but they need some more rotational defensive ends to get out there and keep that fatigue to a minimum. So,
I saw that in the chat. People asked about Dom Rob. Dom Rob I would expect him to play. He was limited yesterday. So he's already limited on Wednesday. That's a huge step forward from where he was been. And the Bears were optimistic going back that it wasn't going to be a long-term thing. Calm behind the scenes, seeing Damra move around, looks healthy to me. That doesn't mean he's, that the ankle's perfect, but I think I would expect him to play on Sunday.
Yep. Make sure you tune in tonight here at 6 p.m. Central to get you ready for Thursday Night Football. The Brick by Brick podcast will be dropping with Lance Briggs and Jerry Zuma. It was a great show. We were having a lot of fun. We talked a little bit about nicknames, obviously, with the Vikings quarterback giving his own nickname. Briggs and Azuma were giving out some old school teammates and some of their nicknames of some of their former teammates that I never knew.
Give one away.
Lance Briggs gave away his nickname that he was called growing up that I had never known about, but you got to tune in to watch it.
Ooh, look at that tease. I'm not even going to push. No,
honestly, it starts the show. It was really good. And then we get into Bears-Vikings conversation and debates with Circus Sports and all that. It was a really fun show. I hope you guys can all tune in for it.
What time is it tonight?
6 p.m. Central.
6 p.m. Central. If you can't be there.
Right when I will be stressing out about Purdue and Bama.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody cares about that. But good luck to your Boilers tonight as I try to be a good Mark Harmon for you at the end of the show here. One thing that we didn't get to with Paul Allen that I just want to mention, the Vikings, they were on their way to beating the Ravens last week. And, but then it's just started trending the other way, and Baltimore is the better team. I think the Ravens are going to end up in the playoffs and probably the division winner and all of that. But there was a huge play last week where Dallas Turner had a sack, which would have ended the Ravens' drive, and he was called for falling on the quarterback because he drove Lamar Jackson into the ground. But it wasn't like there was literally, it was such a great football play, getting to the quarterback, squaring him up, tackling him. But nowadays, you're not allowed to land on the quarterback. I hate that rule. There's got to be some level of, are you trying to injure someone or are you just trying to play football? But apparently the NFL views NFL refs not smart enough to determine that, so they just made it a black and white rule, which was a huge impact in the game last week. And it benefits the Bears, the Vikings going down. But that rule sucks, and there's nothing I can do about it, obviously, nor you, Gregory, nor Paul Allen, nor anyone. But just watching the Vikings and getting ready for this game on Sunday and seeing that, it's like, you know what, that rule just stinks. It doesn't belong in the game. I know they're trying to keep guys healthy, but I hated it. I don't know if you had the same reaction.
No, I totally understand that. I would say the one thing from the Bears side of things in this game is I'm as much looking forward to, and I have to imagine that the Bears players are looking forward to playing in a dome. As much as it's a tough road environment, the Bears have had to deal with weather, it feels like, almost every week, whether it was the Giants game in the cold and the snow or the rain against the Washington Commanders or the Saints. It feels like they've played in a lot of sloppy games. And so, I don't know, being on that fast turf and letting this offense kind of operate in a clean environment, I have to imagine they're not like begrudging it.
Yeah, I'm sure Caleb isn't, as from a quarterback standpoint. You saw the video last week of him being mic'd up, but he was a little cold early on. He's got his hands.
It was freezing.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
Yep, I know.
He put up good numbers in Minnesota last year. I'm pretty sure. I know he put up good numbers against Minnesota on the whole year last year, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, but before we wrap, I just wanted to take the temp on something, and that is Justin Jefferson with J.J. McCarthy this season. I know this is a weird one. Everyone considers him to be one of the best wide receivers in football, if not the best. Here's his numbers with J.J. McCarthy this season. 4 catches, 44 yards, touchdown. 3 catches, 81 yards. 6 catches, 47 yards, touchdown. 4 catches, 37 yards. He's not getting the ball fed to him enough right now, and this is something that the Bears are going to have to be wary of, because guess who else is aware of this? The Minnesota Vikings. They are going to scheme Justin Jefferson open. And a really interesting thing here is the Vikings' passer rating when targeted by McCarthy. Justin Jefferson is dead last. I do not see that continuing this week. Tyreek Stevenson has a lot on his plate on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, he had the big touchdown week 1, Justin Jefferson, as they mounted the comeback against the Bears. So you can only hold on for dear life for so long with Justin Jefferson. I know Jalen Naylor had a big showing last week for them, too.
Taking the Temp, brought to you by your trusted local experts. 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit 4seasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's 4 Seasons Heating, cooling.com. Great end of the show right there by Steven, just busting out some concerns.
Random numbers. Yeah, I mean, and I bring this up later on Brick by Brick as well, but between Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones, I mean, the Bears have their hands full. Aaron Jones, Carm, I'll put this on you. I did this right before week 1. Aaron Jones has played 16 games against the Bears in his career. What is his record in those games?
14-2.
You are incredibly close. He is 15-1. In those 16 games, he has scored 14 touchdowns.
Yeah, look, the guy,
including one in week 1.
Including one in week 1.
I have nightmares.
I've got an anytime bet down on him already.
And he was available, and I get that part of his success is he's been running behind some great offensive lines. But I've always liked him. Dude runs hard, and the Vikings, two-prong attack, they're running the football. So it will not. That's a major challenge for the Bears come Sunday, because Lord knows they have not been stopping the run. Gregory, it's been a hoot.
It has been something. It has been something.
Do you have any wisdom on the way out today? As tomorrow, Hoge and Jahns, we don't have a show. We're back for pregame on Sunday at 11. We're doing a watch along on Sunday. The watch along with myself and Greg and Hoge and Woot for the watch along Sunday is going to be a ton of fun at noon, and then of course post game at 3. Any pearls of wisdom you got left today?
No pearls of wisdom. Nothing that I can really think of. We got a couple super chats. One from Almond Boy, $10 super chat. He didn't have any comment on it, just $10 from Almond Boy.
Thank you, Almond Boy. I like almonds.
Oh, he says,
there it is.
I have every confidence in Caleb Williams for a game-winning drive. Never felt that with the last two guys.
No, you did not. And yes, you do, because why wouldn't you? He's been nails when it's on the line.
Okay.
Thank you, Almond Boy.
Forward Feeling, $5 super chat saying, I'm spending 100 nickels to request that Steven reevaluates his offseason. Take that, Bears captain and defensive player of the year. Byard should be cut to save $7 million in cap. Ooh,
I do
the receipts.
I do remember this one. I did say something along these lines. I will swallow my pride and I will admit that was a very bad take. He leads the NFL tied with his teammate Tremaine Edmonds with 4 interceptions this season.
See that? See what we do on this show? You bring us our
accountability,
our errors in thought, our bad takes, and we just own up to them. I know I always do.
Right. Or like when you say something and I say you said that and then you say you didn't say that.
That definitely didn't happen.
That is 100% what happened.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Yeah, but we appreciate everyone keeping us in check always.
Hey, Bears on Kauai. Thank you for seeing you being in there today. I'm planning a trip to see you, hopefully. First ever trip to Hawaii, Greg. Thinking about it.
I think you should go to Hawaii and never come back.
I knew that's what you would. I thought that's what you would say. All right, good luck to your Boilers site, Steven. Thank you for producing. Chloe, welcome to CHGO.
Chloe. We had a producer sitting in.
You guys will get to know Chloe very soon, and I think you're going to really like what she's going to bring to the table for us. So, what's up next here? What do we got next?
We got
Blackhawks is here today. There's no game. Great. They played last night, right? That happened.
Blackhawks is here
at 2:30 in less than 18 minutes.
Brick by brick at 6 p.m. Hoge and Jahns tomorrow, and then we'll see you on Sunday for wall-to-wall coverage, pregame, live watch-along, postgame, brick by brick after show, everything. Stick with us here at CHGO Sports.
7-3. Quality hedge by me. Picking the Vikings, but let's hope for 7. Let's go for 7. Sunday. We'll see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.